Room number 45. It was festival season, a time of joy and celebration. But for David, the atmosphere felt heavy with a lingering sadness. He had come to the small town with his friends, Jack and Mike, for the festivities, but they had to leave early due to family emergencies. As David stood alone in the dimly lit room number 45 of the old hostel, he felt a profound sense of loneliness wash over him. The vibrant sounds of the festival outside only deepened his sense of isolation. David sat on the edge of the bed, his heart heavy with the absence of his friends. They had shared laughter and excitement, but now the echoes of joy felt like a distant memory. He picked up his phone, scrolling through pictures of happier moments, trying to feel connected, but the silence in the room was deafening, and an unsettling feeling crept over him. As night fell, David decided to explore the hostel in hopes of distracting himself. The corridors were dark and unwelcoming, shadows lurking at every corner. He wandered into the common area, where the whispers of the past seemed to echo against the faded walls. He returned to his room, trying to shake off the sense of dread that had settled over him. Suddenly, the light flickered ominously, and David felt a cold draft wash over him. He dismissed it as just a draft, but couldn't shake the feeling that he was not alone. A sense of unease took root in his mind as he heard the whispers again, soft like a lullaby, but filled with despair. He turned to the bathroom, hoping to splash some water on his face and calm his nerves. When he stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind him with a resounding bang. Panic surged within him as he tugged at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. The whispers morphed into frantic screams, reverberating against the tiled walls. Why was this happening, he thought, fear tightening its grip around his heart. Finally, the door creaked open, and David stumbled out, gasping for breath. He felt a sudden rush of relief, only to be met with the chilling sight of a woman standing at the foot of his bed. Her clothes were tattered, her eyes sunken and hollow, and she seemed to be woven from shadows. "You should have left when you had the chance," she hissed, her voice echoing in his mind. David's heart raced as the room seemed to close in on him. The walls twisted and pulsated, and the shadows danced, forming grotesque figures that reached out to him. In that moment of sheer terror, David's phone buzzed in his pocket. It was a message from Mike. "Get out now!" But before he could respond, the lights flickered violently, and the woman was suddenly inches away from him, her smile revealing sharp, jagged teeth. David bolted for the door, but it slammed shut again, sealing him inside the nightmare. The shadows morphed into his friends, Jack, Mike, and Emily, faces contorted in agony, reaching out to him. "Help us, David!" they cried in unison, their voices filled with despair. Just when he thought all hope was lost, a blinding light filled the room, washing over him like a wave of warmth. Suddenly, he found himself back in the common area, surrounded by laughter and celebration. Jack and Mike were there, laughing and teasing him, the festival alive and vibrant around them. It was as if the horror had never happened. Overjoyed, David embraced his friends, relief flooding through him. They decided to join the festivities, leaving room number 45 behind. The joy of the festival filled him with renewed energy, and for a moment, he felt invincible. But as the night deepened, the joyful atmosphere turned somber again. They returned to the hostel to pack, but when they reached room number 45, David felt a chilling sense of dread wash over him. The door creaked open, revealing a dark, still room, the air heavy with sorrow. David stepped inside, feeling an inexplicable pull. The shadows began to swirl, and the whispers returned, growing louder, more insistent. The joyous laughter faded into the background, replaced by the haunting cries of the woman from before. In a moment of horrifying clarity, David realized he was not truly free. The laughter of his friends grew faint as the darkness enveloped him once more. The figures emerged from the shadows, Jack, Mike, and Emily, faces twisted in terror, trapped in a cycle of despair. "You belong with us now," the woman hissed, her voice echoing with malice. The light flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. David's screams merged with the cacophony of whispers, his friends' faces fading away into the void. He felt himself being consumed by the shadows, the warmth of joy snatched away, leaving only cold emptiness. The next morning, the hostel staff found David's lifeless body sprawled on the floor, eyes wide open in terror. The room had an unnatural stillness, as if it had claimed another soul. When Jack and Mike returned to collect their friend's body, grief washed over them. The vibrant festival outside felt like a cruel joke against the backdrop of their loss. They entered room number 45, heavy hearts bracing for the sight of their friend. As they stood over David's body, sorrow consumed them. Jack placed a trembling hand on David's shoulder, tears spilling down his cheeks. "I wish we could have saved you," he whispered, regret clawing at his heart. Mike stood beside him, staring in disbelief. "We should have been here for you, man," he murmured, grief-stricken. As they turned to leave, the door of room number 45 creaked shut behind them. The whispers began to echo again, calling out to the living, beckoning for the next soul to join their eternal torment. Room number 45 remained a haunting reminder of loss. Joy turned to sorrow, a cycle of despair that would never be broken. Thank you for joining me in the shadows. If you enjoyed the journey, please subscribe and share a creepy Vault 45 with friends, because some chills are best when we're not alone.